What's up, y'all? This is Kendrick, aka Chug Rock. What I want to talk about is about how you're not supposed to mirror the wicked when you're a righteous person. Meaning when they saying something that you don't like, that possibly can make you angry, don't lash out on them the same way they lashed out on you. You be the bigger person. You know, you don't argue with them just because they arguing with you. You know what I'm saying? You be the more righteous person, than they are. You know what I'm saying? In that situation. You know, don't be going around knocking people upside the head because they done said something to you. You know, only time you do that is when they do something physical, something that can hurt you, especially if they can hurt you. You know what I'm saying? Like using a weapon, you know, and stuff like that. They fists, they knees, hand, feet, legs, anything. As long as they ain't using something that can hurt you physically, you ain't gotta be doing all. You don't supposed to be doing all that. Let them do all that. Let them look crazy. Just 'cause they can call you a pussy, a hoe. You know you're not a bitch. That don't mean you go crazy and say let's fight. No, you handle that like a righteous and an adult. Even if you're a child, a teenager, a kid. You know, you're not supposed to be doing that. If you claim to be righteous, you're supposed to mirror a righteous person. You don't supposed to mirror an unrighteous person just because they said something stupid to you, or you know, some you don't like, you gotta control yourself, you can't be out here fighting because somebody said you most likely probably gonna always have some fights, you know, and you gotta be wise. You gotta play chess, not checkers. You know what I'm saying? Out here, meaning you gotta be strategic. You gotta be ahead of the game to them. You know what I'm saying? Let them know they can talk all that stuff, but they can't lay a hand on you. You know what I'm saying? Don't lashing out, hollering just because they holler. You'll look silly like they are. You know what I'm saying? You heard me? You know, you know. Let them insult you with words. You ain't you know what I'm saying? You can tell them something back, but you ain't gotta be in an all-out argument, fighting with words, verbally fighting with words back. Nah, don't do that. Nah. I wouldn't do that. That's not me. I don't do all that because that's not in my nature. That's not me. That's not who I am. That's not make that don't make me. I don't get riled up because of all that. It's not in my character. Not because I'm scary or a pussy. It's just because that's not in my character. That's not how my spirit is. Yes, I'm a tough guy, but I'm not an asshole either. So I'm gonna keep it that way. You know, you know. So yeah, y'all. If y'all claim to be a good person, y'all should not argue back with a person. Don't mirror the character of the wicked. Don't do the stuff that a wicked person would do. Getting a punch in, start punching on them because they call you a pussy and stuff like that. I got beef with a person in the hood. You ain't gonna see me. And I saw that person not too long ago. I be seeing that person. I see that person. I don't. And after that person, when that person was saying all that to me, called me a pussy, and when I wouldn't, I done lash out when we was sitting down, and we was cool. I was cool with them at first. I was cool with that man at first, but you wouldn't never see me lash out on nobody. I done lash out on them and start punching them. I could have easily did that, but how would I look? I wouldn't look no better than he is. I would be just as stupid as he is, Why would I stoop to his level? You know, I would be an idiot like he is. I ain't gonna say his name, but he know my people, he know me. I don't really know him like that, but why would I stoop to his level and cock back and punch him, knock him upside the head? I would be just as dumb as he is. I would be just an idiot as he is, So it wouldn't make no sense, for me to do it. Then I'll be in the wrong. Then I can go to jail. And plus I'm in his yard. He can do whatever he wants. You know what I'm saying? So that would be dumb. I could have did something to him when I saw him. Say, remember that stuff because I ain't been coming over where he coming over. He probably wondered why I ain't been showing up. I could have just cocked back and hit him. I could have did all that if I was an idiot. But that ain't in my nature to be like that. I got a pure heart. You know what I'm saying? Although I'm still mad at that incident. I'm ticked off at that. But and I got beef with him. I ain't gonna be a crazy person and call him out his name and start stir up a fight. Nah, because I know he wicked now. He ain't no good. I should have known. It was a red flag the way he talked about being a thug and condoning thuggerism. I should have known he was crazy then. I kind of knew he was kind of throwed up, but for some reason I was saying in my mind, this dude okay at the same time, So, and he, so, yeah, man. I would never show my beef in a wrongful way because I don't want to imitate the wicked. I don't want to mirror the wicked. I don't want to mirror that guy's character, condoning being a thug, because that's what he is. Although he claimed to be a Muslim, he's not a Muslim because he still got that thuggerism in him. He was talking about he was a thug back in the day. You know what I'm saying? He had multiple time felony, but you won't hear me like, oh, that's a bitch ass nigga. I'll punch that nigga and I'll punish that nigga. I'll kill that nigga. I won't be no better than him. And plus, that'll leave me in jail. I'll be like him. So don't mirror the wicked. We should not mirror the wicked. Y'all gotta learn how to control y'all anger. Discipline yourselves. Just like you working out and discipline yourself. Maybe because you getting stress off you and stuff like that. You gotta train your brain to get into a habit of respecting people, even though they showing you wrong. Don't mirror the wicked. Period. Don't mirror, even if they say some crazy to you, don't mirror their character. Y'all be cool. Peace.